Hi everyone, and welcome to the Christmas live stream. I am very excited. Clearly, I'm super excited because I've forgotten to take off my glasses. I do all my computer setup for which I need my glasses, and then when I step away from the computer, I don't need them. But anyway, it is Christmas, so we're very excited to be here. I've just had one of those very classic Christmas moments where I was setting up and I was like, oh, I found some fairy lights. I can like make it look all pretty, and then I turned the lights on and they're kind of terrifying. They're this like crazy mix of colors, which didn't at all suit our theme. And I think it's meant to be Santa, but it looks vaguely sinister. So we will not be having the vaguely creepy Christmas lights. And we've got lots of great things to talk to you about today, which is really great. So a few things that I wanted to go through. This is our last live stream for the year, so there will be more next year, but we're going to have a little break over the Christmas periods. So a little bit of a break. If you want to make sure that you know about our next rounds of live streams and all of the exciting things that Hatch will be doing in 2025, there's a couple of ways you can keep in contact with us. So you can like our Facebook page, you can subscribe to our newsletter, you can do that one from the Hatch website, and you can follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, if you also want to know about when new videos get released, particularly lives, be sure to tick that little bell when you get to YouTube, because what that's going to do is it's going to give you an update in your time zone of when things are going to happen. So if you're there going, what time is 10 a.m. Sydney in my time? Make sure you do that. It just takes some of the maths out of it and makes it a little bit more exciting. So that's good, amazing things that are happening for 2025. So be sure to get in on those and all signed up. Our other thing is we're still in Stitch Fest and all of our Black Friday specials. So with all of the Black Friday specials, there's lots of things happening for whether you're a brand new Hatch person or you're an established Hatcher. So be sure to go along and have a look at all of those specials on the website. As I always say, when you look it up in your country, you will see the pricing in your currency. So here in the stream, I don't talk about the pricing because it's too hard for me to do all of the currency conversion while I am talking about other things. The team is here. Sorry, you might be getting some slight ambulance noise from outside. We work on a busy street. Noise happens. Yeah, be sure to go and check out all of the Black Friday specials. They are the biggest sales of the year. So if you've been saving up for Hatch or trying to decide what happens, be sure to go and do it and get it in before the sale ends, because we don't want you to be sad once the sale ends and you have missed out. So be sure to jump in and grab great advantage with all of those sale things. I think that's all my housekeeping things. I'm sure there's something else that I will remember later on. Thanks so much for joining. I can see names popping up in the chat. Thanks so much. I would really love to know what Christmas is like in your country. Obviously, here in Australia, Christmas is hot, which a lot of people find very strange. So we're more likely to be having salads and going to the beach and going for a swim than we are to be anything else, because it is just so hot here. I want to know, what's it like in your country? What are the big things that you decorate with, and what's the food that you're going to be eating? So let us know in the chat. That's going to be super fun as we go along. So what I'm here today though is we have a Christmas project. So I'm going to show you what the actual project is. They're our little trees. So I'm actually just going to pick one up. So our little trees are three-dimensional. They're just adorably cute. And I've got some videos showing how we actually made all of these. So huge thank you to Mai, who is our head digitizer here at Wilcom. I was talking to Mai, we kind of like brainstormed up an idea, and then other people have had input, and it became these very adorable little trees. And I kept saying to her, I want a forest of trees, and she delivered. You're going to see Mai in the clips. It is her hands doing things, and it was me doing the recording. So I might jump in and start showing you. Actually, before I do, all of the information about the trees is going to come up on a blog post soon on the Hatch blog. So there's a bunch of things that we used, but don't worry about trying to rush and write them all down now, because it is going to be in the blog post with all the information there for you. So just as a quick rundown, things that we used for this project, we had some felt, we had some buckram, or if you can't get hold of buckram, a very heavyweight iron-on interfacing that's going to make your trees somewhat stiff. We actually did some with buckram, and then we did some with the heavier weight interfacing. We actually thought the heavier weight interfacing looked a little bit better in terms of the way the stitching looked out, but the buckram does make the trees stand a little taller. So as long as you're careful with them and aren't squashing the tops too much, I don't think it's going to matter in terms of which way it is. But we did use two things. In the clip you are going to see, I think, some of both actually happening, because we did some different tests happening. And some metallic threads. So I'm going to get the video started so we can talk through the setup of it all as well. So we're just showing that we actually did this. You want a coloured bobbin. So we actually filled our bobbin with metallic threads. So we filled it up with metallic threads and we're popping it in. And we have hooped in the felt alongside. The felt has been backed with an iron-on interfacing. And because we're doing this as an in the hoop project, Maya's actually just sliding another piece of felt in underneath there that is also got the interfacing on it. So it sort of goes felt interfacing, an iron-on interfacing, then the buckram and a felt underneath as well. So you basically want to make a little sandwich with the felts both sides. Maya just started the machine and she's actually checking to make sure it is super smooth underneath, because we didn't want anything caught up underneath. On this particular test, we have run the stitch work edge to edge on our hoop. So that's why we weren't using like a holding stitch to hold anything in, because we've gone right through to the edge of that. And now we're starting to stitch out. So with the metallic threads, we have used a couple of different kinds in our tests, but with all of them, they look really beautiful, and particularly when we're using it in the bobbin as well. And here Mike's just like slowing the machine down just a little to help cope with that metallic thread. So I know we had a chat about this in one of the other live streams, but whenever I'm using metallics, I like to slow the machine down a little bit. And what it does is it actually allows your machine and your needle a little bit more time to deal with a thread that it's not as smooth as the others. So that's why we're slowing it down and we're starting to stitch that out there. Oops, sorry. So what will happen there is we were just starting to stitch out and we'd made our little sandwich and kept it all nice and smooth. In our test one, what we have actually done is we have set it up so that there are multiple sizes stitching out at the one time, because we had the bigger hoop. The files that you are going to get given as the giveaway in the blog post, which as I said is upcoming on the Hatch blog, you have access to a bunch of different sizes. They are EMB files, so you can edit them. But what will happen is we've got them down for like a 4x4 or 10x10 hoop, so 4x4 inches, 10x10 centimeters, so the sort of baby size hoop. And then up to the bigger size trees. Now, if you're very careful and measure out the size of your biggest hoop, you can actually tessellate your tree so you have one part of the tree going up, one down, and like literally concertina them in so you get the most amount of space in your tree. So it sounds a little weird, but it works. All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit more of the stitching so you can see how it is all working. So we've started out our stitching here, and what we have used is we actually used the circle layout tool with Inside Hatch. Now, Maya's gone into more detail in this, which will end up in the blog post, but it allows you to create these really beautiful snowflake designs, and she was showing me how quickly she can do it, and it looked so beautiful. It really works in such a beautiful way to get not only a lot of different designs happening, but they all look symmetrical as well. So in terms of actually how it's going to work, it looks really great. And as I said, the explanation for that will be fully in the one. I'm just going to let you look at the clip there for a little bit while I take a quick drink of water. And that way you can just watch the machine for a moment. Now, we decided to go for a high contrast. Not only does it look great for photos, it also means that when we're filming this stitch out, it works really great to actually show you what's happening. So we went with a very bright gold on top of a very dark green in a very kind of traditional kind of Christmas look, but you could always try different colored metallics. So if you were looking for like more of a Nordic theme or had like a white and silver colorway, some white trees with silver stitching would be adorable. And I know some people have like super bright Christmas trees. You could go with, definitely could go with different colored bright felts, and all different kinds of metallics. You could also not use metallics and just use regular threads as well. But I've got to say, when you see them in real life and the snowflakes are actually stitched out, it's really beautiful, with all of those little glittery points coming through. And I've got some clips later on to show you. We set up our little lunch table here, which is actually in front of where I'm recording here. And so what's happening is it just looks really pretty all laid out. But yeah, totally you can change your color schemes and think about what's going to match your Christmas trees and your family's decorations. I know some people are very color coordinated every year, and some people have a wild riot of an entire multi-generations worth of Christmas. I think it's always great to see how people decorate and what they like to do. So that's always really fun to see. So as I said, we sort of crammed as many trees in as we could on this frame. So what you're seeing is you're actually seeing the snowflakes being stitched out across multiple trees here. It's not just all on the one tree. We did try and do it so that there are maximum number of snowflakes per tree, obviously accounting for the size of the tree to fit into the different size hoops. So yeah, ours looks very full, but we also are trying to do many trees. Because we'd also ironed on the interfacing, we wanted to try and take advantage of all of the felt that we had prepared. It's because you don't want, no one wants to waste any product or time when they're doing things. So using hatch to resequence them and put them back in so you fit as many into the biggest size hoop you've got certainly saves a lot of time in actually making that all happen. Okay, I'm just going to go straight into the next one. So here we're still stitching out some more snowflakes, and here you can start to see a bit more of the shapes of the actual trees. So each tree is made up of two sections which are stitched out in the felt, and then you slot them together to make them three-dimensional. As individual pieces, they don't stand up on their own. They do need the second part to actually stand up so that you can create your little forest of trees. Like I said, we used them as a little tablescape here, which was very cute. You could also create them along a mantelpiece if you've got a mantle. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can decorate with them. I think everyone in the office wants to steal some and have a tree on every office desk, which would be a great way to make the whole place look very Christmassy. And here we're starting to work on the outline. So on each one, it has a double outline of stitching. Now, on the clip you're actually watching, this is one of our experimental ones. We kept trying until we did different things. But originally we had been stitching out the edges using the same color thread that was the felt. So if we were stitching on green felt, we were using green thread. We did try some on some different colors as well. But what we discovered after a while is it made the edges not pop. It made it look kind of a bit flat. So what we did was we actually changed the thread color so that the thread color would be gold. felt. And when we did that, all of us went, oh wow, that's the solution. So instead of being a two-color design, we swapped it back and it became a one-color design, and we did the entire thing in the metallic thread. It looks really great, and I can show you the difference between the two in a moment so that you can actually see the different variations of how it looked. You can't see me, but I'm currently destroying my display behind me to pull out different ones to actually show you there. So you can start to see the outlines of the trees coming up, and I've done a little speed up so that it kind of gets it through nice and fast. You can also see how many trees we managed to fit in when it's stitching them out, because you can start to see those outlines occur as well. All right. So here I've got my two different kinds of trees. So I'm just going to hold them up so that you can see. So this tree, just plain green outline. This one, gold outline. Whoops, oh, where's my camera? And as you can see, the gold is just, it really makes it pop and look really great. It looks so beautiful. And because we did the gold in top and bottom using the bobbin thread as well, it's just a really fantastic way. So initially we had done the green, which is what you just saw, but the gold, definitely the way to go. So here it is all stitched out in the hoop, and this is what the underside looks like. So like I just explained, this is the one with the green stitched on the outline, but because we use that bobbin thread, it looks the same top and bottom, which looks really great. And then we started to cut it out. So because we're cutting through two layers of felt, a layer of interfacing and a layer of buckram, it's quite hard going. So you can see, even though Mai's using very sharp scissors here, it is a little bit of a struggle. And that's why we tried a different interfacing other than buckram as well. So for those of you who are not used to using non-embroidery interfacings, buckram is something we often use if we're making corsets and basques, or if we're doing it, we use it a lot in hat making. So it's very stiff and very pliable. It kind of looks like a heavier canvas, but when you touch it, it feels like it's got like paint in it or something, because it feels kind of scratchy, for want of a better word. So it's very stiff, and it worked great for the trees, but we also tried a heavier weight iron-on interfacing, which also worked great as well. So if you can't get the buckram, just look for the heaviest weight iron-on interfacing you can find and go with that. Failing that, if you can't find those, do some experiments and try doubling up your iron-on interfacings. Maybe iron on both sets of felt so that both are sort of nicely stabilized as well. You can also get some different weights of felt, which might also help. Be aware the heavier or more plush felt, you might need to not be so spindly with your beautiful decoration designs of your actual snowflakes, because they will sink into the plushness of that felt a little bit for you there. So just, be aware and maybe do some experiments. But I've got to say, a lot of it, like stitching on felt, is such a joy because it just does what you tell it to do. So we've just been clipping out all of our different edges here. It was lots of fun getting it all sort of set up. And you can see on the one which is actually sitting on the desk there, in order to get them to slot together, don't just cut a single line. We actually want to cut that line work out. So we actually want to cut a segment out so that they slot together better. Partially the reason we're doing that is because of all the thickness of all of the felts and the backings and everything else. So here Mai's actually showing how she's doing that. So in the chat, someone's asking, could we do this with a rotary cutter? Yes, you could. I would potentially use a ruler to line up against that as well. Sorry, my camera just stuck. So yeah, if you're going to use a rotary cutter to cut it out, make sure you use a cutting mat as always, but also maybe have a ruler to go against. It is lots of ins and outs around the tree. So go a bit slower with your rotary cutter or cut downwards from the top of the tree so you don't risk lopping off a branch. Depends how accurate you can be with it. If you are using a rotary cutter with buckroom, do be aware of the fact that it is very difficult to cut through with a rotary because it's not really designed for that. So you might be able to cut your felt with the rotary, and then you might have to trim up a little bit as well. So just sort of have a think about that. Sorry, I was going to sneeze. Okay. Something disastrous always happens every live stream. So once we had everything all set out and we did a whole bunch of different trees, we also set up our little tablescape. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that because it's very cute. So we just had some plain white tablecloth out with a red and gold runner, and then we set up with our little trees and just some gold baubles. We kept it pretty simple because the lunch space does get used by everyone, and we didn't want to take up too much space on people. So we had this out all set up while I was filming, and then we left it up for a little bit, and then I stole all the trees to do my decorations for today. So that was our Christmas giveaway for all of our great projects there. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, all of those details of exactly what we did, plus the actual files to create the embroideries, are all going to be available on the Hatch blog soon. Keep an eye out on that. If you always want to know what's upcoming in the blog, which is quite often where we do our projects and our giveaways of any sort of free projects or hints and tips and things, be sure to sign up to the Hatch email newsletter. You can find the link on the website and the team will drop it in for you as well. And that way you always know when things are coming up, which is a super great way to keep in contact. Like I said at the top of the show, be sure to join us on all of our social medias, whichever one is your social media of choice. We try and have a presence there. If you want to watch the live streams and know about the live streams, though, your best bet is the Hatch Facebook page and the YouTube channel, because that's where they're going to be. In the new year, we might expand that. We might include doing lives on Instagram and TikTok. It takes a little bit more time to set those up, and it's all about like aspect ratios and really technical things like which way do people turn their phones. So I want to make sure that it's easily visible for everyone. So that's why we've gone with Facebook and YouTube to start with. I am going to have a little break from our lives as much as I have been enjoying them. I am going on holidays. So we're going to have a little break, and then we're going to be back in the new year. If you've got anything that you really want to see as a live stream, so you desperately want to see a certain topic, you can drop it in the chat. You can message us. You can email us about it. I am compiling my big list of all the things that I want to show you. So if there's anything specific that you want to see, definitely let us know. Already in some of the past live streams, people have given me lots of great ideas. So if you've said things before, like someone's like, can we have freestanding lace? And someone else is like, can we have this? You've already been added to a list. No guarantee of how fast that's going to happen, but we're going to work on it, and there will definitely be more live. So if there's things you want to know, come and ask. It's the best way to do it. Till then, make sure you take advantage of the Black Friday sales and grab a Hatch. And any questions that you have or any ways you want to know how to digitize, don't forget the Academy is right there for you. You can do everything that you need through the Academy. If you have any technical difficulties, contact support. I think that's everything for everyone. Have a really wonderful Christmas or holiday break. I hope you all get to have a rest and hopefully a play on your machines. For those of you who are getting Hatch for Christmas, or maybe you're getting a new machine for Christmas, I'm very jealous. That's a wonderful feeling when you get the new machine day or new Hatch day. That's super fun. So enjoy that. Please share everything that you are stitching with us on the Facebook group, and I'll see you all in 2025.